introduction. It's funny when Katie and we were up at that Equity Council. I think that's where it was, at the Equity Council retreat. I told her that I was offended that she doesn't use me. And she was like, I didn't know. I'm like, okay, all
I
right.
didn't, and now I use her all the time. She's probably like, oh my gosh, I wish I would not have told her.
No, that's what I do. That's what I do. I identify leadership and I coach and mentor them. So I love it. I love everything about it. So thank you so much. So since you guys are pretty new, um, like she was saying, I'm Kelly Allred. I work at Q Science Corporate in Utah. Um, I I've been in the industry for 21 years, so I know that probably some of you guys came from a company, and so did I. So there's a few things that you probably like, probably tons of things that you like about the industry, and there's probably a few things that you don't, right? So do I, right? So if you've ever been to Utah, you'll know that here is where there's a lot of MLMs. I don't know why, but there's just a lot here. There's a lot of your major name brand ones here. So I've been at, my friends work at them, and I have family that's in ambassadors in some of them. So there's actually nothing short of always kind of comparing a little bit on whose company does what, right? And as you can probably tell right now, people are asking about Q Sciences. It's hot, right? We're in momentum. We're in great momentum. And I think it's super cool. But a few reasons why I was attracted to Q Sciences 3 years ago was, first of all, I love the fact that our president, Mr. Jake Spencer, had been in the field, right? So he knows how hard it is. It's not easy. It's hard out there, right? It's hard to have the negativity. It's hard to have the no's. It's hard to introduce. It really stretches you, and he understands that, right? So I like the idea that we're all being guided and mentored by somebody who's actually been in your place, who's had the drama, who's made money, who's lost rank, who's, you name it, volumes went up, volumes went down. So he knows exactly what he wants his company to be, right? And he wants it nothing like an MLM. So I like that. I thought it was pretty cool. One of the other reasons why I was attracted to it is I taught compensation plans for 20 years. And I like the fact that Q Sciences has only 4 ways to get paid, right? So on your average, there's about probably 7 to 10 ways to get paid in unilevels or binaries or whatever anybody else's uses. I like the fact that there was just 4 simple ways that I could explain to help everybody understand how to make money, right? And it didn't take long. I also love the fact that we all know what it says, what rank you are is actually the money that you get. So Katie's platinum, we know that every single platinum in our business makes $15,000 a month, right? We know every gold makes 8,000. There's not a gold that makes 7. There's not a gold that makes 9, unless they're getting bonuses, rank bonuses and different things, but everybody gets the same amount. I love that, because if you've been in other companies, you know what I say when you open your check and you're either surprised for the better or surprised for the worse, right? So you can do budgeting with that. You can do whatever you want with it, but at least you know exactly what it is. And at least I can tell you exactly how to get there, right? And the last thing by far is the financial freedom program, right? So I don't know of another company out there that actually offers that. You get an automatic free financial coach, which doesn't mean you have to give them everything and just like, okay, they're going to boss me around with my money. No, actually what it is just to bounce ideas off, to find out from an expert. And if you plan on making some serious gangster money like Katie, you'll want to learn how to budget it, or you'll want to learn how to put it away for the future, right? So it's just another education piece as a business owner that I think solidifies that everybody most certainly should consider this and take this as a serious business. Okay, so those are a few things of why I came into Q Sciences, a few things why the people are being attracted to Q Sciences, and I think it's great. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you make me the host? Summer, I want $15,000. I want to be like you. You can, right? Are we on? Where is she? I can't see her. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, right on. Okay, so can you, okay, let's see. Let me make certain. Let me just do this slideshow. Start from the beginning. Okay, can you see that? Okay, right on. Okay, so I'm so excited that you guys are all new, right? Because there's power in getting trainings right off the bat, right? Because there's a lot of people actually that don't get them. And so I'm honored and I'm glad that you guys are on here to kind of learn some of these techniques, because again, it's different, right? It's a different business. So one of the things that I can't express enough is that when you're bringing other business owners in, you have to screen them. This is one thing that it sets us above the rest, and that is we are selective, and we actually screen people out too of who's going to come into your business, right? The reason why we do this isn't to turn people away. It's to see where we're going to spend our time, right? So we only all have so much time in a day. So where we're spending our time, it better count. So if people aren't able to commit to these screening questions, then we know, okay, they're not exactly what we're looking for or the right business owner for us, right? So all it's going to do is cut down on your time of trying to help people or drag people through the finish line. So as you sign people up, before you even sign people up, so you've peaked them, you've got them on a three-way, more than likely they've been to a presentation somehow or the other, right? And they're like, okay, this is great, this is for me, sign me up. Right before you sign them up, you pull out this paper, this questionnaire, and you ask them these questions, okay? Are they willing and able to own a business? Now that sounds like it should be somewhat of an easy question until you throw in, well, it comes with time, responsibility, money, right? It comes with coming out of your comfort zone. You have to be coachable. There's lots of different things that a business owner has to do, right? It's not just get in and be like, okay, come to me, I'm going to attract a bunch of people. No, that's not how it goes, right? So are they willing and able to own a business? Number two, can they invest $200, $40 to own a business, which is mind blowing, and then $100 and something into our wonderful products, right? So here's what happens. If somebody is like, oh, guess what? I don't have the investment. I want to do this, but I don't have the investment. Here's the simple answer. Hopefully you guys will all take note of this. Okay, I'm going to put you in as a preferred customer. You can pick whatever products that you want, try them. And when you're ready to become a business owner, I'll simply change your status to business owner and we can start then, right? What we don't do is put them in, have them pay the fee, and let their executive time clock, which I'll explain to you, start without them even starting, right? If people don't have the money, don't stick them in. It's just as simple as that, right? You just put them in as preferred customers. Okay, the next question, which is always the hard one, right? Committing to a monthly auto shipment. And again, some people are like, okay, well, this is kind of awkward to ask. Too bad. It's part of being a business owner. You have to let them know the expectations so they can either agree or disagree. They can make a sound adult decision on this, right? Committing to a monthly auto shipment, they need to commit to one. It's just part of being an owner. Now, if they're like, I actually been burned before, there's no way that I can put that on there. My husband doesn't like it. Like, I'm not able to commit to a monthly auto shipment. Then it goes back to the standard answer. Okay, I'm going to put you in as a preferred customer, and you can try the product. I'll follow up with you in a few weeks. And if it's something, the monthly auto shipment is something that you can commit to, then we'll simply turn you into a business owner and we can start your business then, right? You don't want to start skirting away from these already, because it's only going to make your business suffer. And in all actuality, you're doing that new person a disservice because you're having them already skimp out on qualifications, right? Okay, next is launching within 24 to 48 hours. It's your responsibility to make certain that anybody that comes into your organization, whether it's front level or 300th level, that they're launched and they're launched properly, right? And in some cases, what your leadership does is that even before they sign up, they get to this question and they're like, okay, can you launch within 24 to 48 hours? The person is like, sure, okay, let's schedule it right now. The person's not even signed up yet. You're already scheduling their launch, right? They need that launch to get started because they don't know how. So you can schedule that launch right then. If they say, I'm going out of town and I'm not going to be back for a week, can we launch then? Hold off on it. Hold off on already putting them in, because let me tell you something. One of two things is going to happen. Either on vacation, they're going to get cold feet and want their money back already, or it's too long and they're going to be lost. They're not going to want it, right? So hold off on even enrolling them until you can launch them within 24 to 48 hours. It's crucial. Okay, Fab 5, right? That's a meeting. That's a Zoom. That's a presentation. That's an introduction to a third party. That's what you're getting these people on, right? So if somebody's like, well, I don't know anybody, or I live in a desolate area, or I burned my contacts out at some point, there's a good possibility they're not going to make the best business owners, right? Because they have to be able to branch out and introduce the business and the products to people. So if they can't get people, or if they can't think of people, then they're already probably not the great fit for a business owner in this company, right? I hate to say it, but it's totally true. And I'll save you time by even just knowing that, right? But if they're like, no problem. In fact, I'm going to get you on a Fab 10, right? Great. Check. Identifying 5 to 7 hours. We're all busy. We're all moms, dads, more than likely. Some single. We all have careers. There's lots of different things that people have going on. But if somebody cannot identify 5 to 7 hours, don't put them in, right? Don't prematurely put them in. You can, however, help them identify some hours. In fact, a couple hours ago, I was doing one of these and a lady said, hey, I'm a teacher. I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a single parent of 3 girls, and I made executive in 7 days. If anybody can do it, I can do it. That's what she said. She said in the morning, she does a little bit of work. At her lunch period, she does a little bit of work. On Saturday, she does a little bit of work. Doesn't mean you have to cram 5 hours in one day. It just means help these people with some organization with their time, and maybe even yourself, so that they know that's expected of them to own a business. If they still say no, they can't find any time, don't sign them up. Put them in as a preferred customer, let them try the products. And then the last question, the last screening question, and some leaders have added even more questions to this if they wanted to get super screenable, right? The last question is committing to being an executive. Now, here's the thing, more than likely, the newest person, and you guys are the newest person, doesn't understand what it means to be an executive, right? So here's how you're going to put it. You're going to say, okay, I understand you probably don't know what committing to an executive means, but here's what I'm asking from you, that you're coachable, that you get me on the calls, that you go ahead and follow all of these steps. And what you're going to get from me is that I'm going to help you from now until the end of April to help get you the $750 check that goes with being an executive. Okay, so if they commit to that, then if they commit to all of them, you're golden to sign them up, right? You've done your due diligence of saying, okay, I think this is going to be the very best fit for this person and me. But again, if you kind of skid by on some of these ones, then you'll find that you are going to waste your time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to break down the executive position. I think Jake and I both think that executive is probably one of the very most important positions in the company, even higher than like a black diamond, really, because an executive gives people enough money for belief. It gives them a rank bonus if they hit it in time. It keeps them ordering. It gives them the money, and your retention rate stays really high with them. And in fact, most of our checks, like 70% of our checks that we give to people at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month, is to these 3 ranks, right? So it's super important to get people there because your retention will stay high. Okay, so the very first thing that everybody needs to understand, you guys on here as well, and anybody that you're signing up, is their executive time clock. So to my understanding, most of you guys came in last month, right? So you have the rest of this month, so till the end of March, to get to executive to collect on the full $750. Okay, so everybody needs to understand their executive time clock. It's the month they came in and the whole next month. So if you came in on March 1st, you have all of March and all of April. If you came in on February 28th, you have the few hours left in February and all of March. Okay, so it's the month you came in, it doesn't matter what day, that month and the whole next month. Everybody needs to understand their time clocks, and they need to make sure everybody that they're bringing in, that they're screening, understands their time clocks. Okay, so to help them get to executive, and to even help yourself to get to executive, at this point, you need to bite-size the information, right? Because nobody wants to hear OB, CV, QV, PD. It's just confusing to the newest person. So here's how you do it. You see right here where it's builder. You come across here and you'll see 300, right? What that means, basically, in lame terms, is 3 orders. So you get 3 orders, right? So 2 you're getting automatically because you need 2 active people. So that's 2 orders, that's a given, right? And either you bring in another order, or one of these people brings in somebody, doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's underneath you in your organization, and you have those, $100 next week gets put into your account. Okay. You'll see here at Pro, the 600, right? So for 3 more orders, 6 total, 3 more orders, not 6 more, but 3 more orders, another $100 gets put into your bank account the next week, which means pretty much you got your investment back, which means pretty much you're teaching people how to get their investment back, right? Because if you get your investment back, your likelihood of staying raises 4 to 5 months. If you don't get your check back, or if you don't get your investment back, you're more than likely, 95% of you are more than likely to drop out, which means 95% of your people who you're bringing in is more than likely to drop out. Okay, so for 9 more orders, right here on executive, equaling 15 in your organization, right? Not just you, not you don't bring in 15 orders, your organization brings in 15 orders. Another $300 goes in, so that's 500, and every executive gets the same amount of money each month, which is $250. So that's $750 that you get in your executive time clock. And this is how you need to explain it to people and bite size it, right? Even maybe to yourselves if you didn't understand it, now you do, right? Okay, so here is a perfect executive. Now I know that it doesn't always happen this way, but I want this as a visual. I'm a visual person, so I know there's visual people on here. So you'll see here, you sign up 2 people. Who signs up a PC that has 100, right? Right there is 300, okay? Here, you're signing up, or they're signing up their active people who are screened, who wants the business, right? All of that. And you'll see on down, they sign up to, they sign up to, they sign up to. All you need is 2, right? So who on this call wants to be an elite soon? Probably most of you guys, right? Because maybe you're builder, pro, or executive and you're going to elite. So here's the simplest way to understand it and to get there, okay? Because I want all you guys to get there. In your 2 legs, right? So your 2 personally active people that you brought in and their lines, you help 2 people in each of those legs get to executive. So if 4 people come into your organization, somewhere, even at the bottom, even 20 levels deep, and you help them get to executive, that all counts to volume. If you help 2 people in each leg get to executive, by default, the volume from those legs generated bumps you to an elite. That's pretty cool, right? Because it's volume based. Do you have to have executives underneath you? No, because again, it's all volume. Is it the fastest, easiest, and the most retention way to do it? Yes. Do they have to be frontline? No, because it's volume based. They can come, somebody can enroll somebody 300 levels deep. You help that person to executive, that could pop you to elite. Here's the same thing for a bronze. If you want to be bronze, which you guys should be thinking long term, you want to become bronze, right? Write it down when you want to be. That's helping 4 people in each leg become executive. When you put it that way, when your organization starts to grow like that, having 4 people come into your organization each month in each leg isn't necessarily that hard. What the hard part is helping those people understand that they need to get to executive, right? So if you want to be bronze here into the future, then find 4 people in each leg that you want to help to executive. That's how you're going to be able to do it, is helping the newest person win. That's what we're going to do here with you guys. You're the newest. We're going to try to help you win by getting you that 750 by the end of this month, because you came in last month. And surely you've probably brought people in too, right? So then you're going to help them. You're educated enough now to know how to do it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to ask you, do you have any questions? Now, I know you're all new and you're trying to absorb it, right? We want you to be successful. We want you to understand that screening isn't a bad thing. It's actually the best thing to do. And we want you to understand that helping your newest people to executive will help you as well hit rank.
Y'all unmute yourselves if you have questions. Y'all, we have Kelly Allred on here. Flood her with questions. Take advantage. Okay, so do you see that in the chat, Kelly? Someone asked, how do you pique interest in the opportunity without being a salesperson?
Well, I mean, if you're piquing interest, it means that you're trying to start a relationship, right? And so you don't go right in for the kill, right? Like you want to ask questions. If you're piquing somebody, you may want to find out what they're doing, right? You may want to find out a little bit about the person. You may want to like their stuff. You may want to, do different things. But here's what I say is that you don't want to talk people into the sign up or the sell yourself. You want to do third party all the time, all day, every day, all night long, because it works 80% of the time. So all you're going to do is pique them to get on the phone with Katie, who happens to be equity counsel, top of the leg, makes $15,000 a month, and knows everybody at corporate, right? So you're just piquing them to the person who they're going to get on the phone with, who is going to do the sell or the sign up for you. Trust me when I say, even Katie uses this. Every single large leader uses third party. Even if you're making a whole bunch of money a month, you're still using it because it works the very best. So I know that was kind of roundabout, but you have to kind of start a relationship. And if you're going in right in for it, then all you're doing is you're not edifying your business at this point, you're edifying the person who they're going to talk to. Good question.
How would one have a successful hour? Like if you just set aside 1 hour of that day, how would you best use that hour?
Ooh, good question. Those are called IPAs, which means income producing activities, right? And there's quite a few ways, because your hour, you want to make sure it's effective, right? Because who wants to waste an hour, right? So a couple of the ways, and Katie has this breakdown, is third parties, right? So either you're the third party, so people are getting you on the phone with their prospects, or you're getting your prospects on the phone with a third party. Okay. Zooms, right? Presentations. Okay. Follow-ups. Follow-ups are people don't follow up enough. I think that they either go in too fast or they're not following up enough. Not salesy follow-up, not like spam, but drip, right? Any of those things, any of the prospect ways, learning or teaching, is income producing activities. But what you don't want to do is sit and scroll on Facebook. That'll waste your time.
I will drop in our chats, Joseph, a breakdown of an IPA, income producing activity.
I have a question real quick. I've had decent success. Got a lot of excitement building around what I'm doing, and so many prospects. But it's super hard. Third-party validation to me is huge, and it has helped me with gaining my 2 personally sponsored. I have a few others that have been placed under me by my sweet friend Molly, but I'm having some issues with some of my new ones that are coming on, and they are really trying to find those people that will be best fit for their team. And they are kind of running into a brick wall, so to say. They talk to them, and they talk to them about, getting getting somebody, hey, call me, we're going to get you on something, I want you to listen. They're kind of like having trouble with that. How do you approach a situation that you kind of, that it's going to be a great fit for them, but they've got that MLM, that, pyramid thing in their head. So to them, they don't even want to listen. How do you get that across to them to say, hey, just give me a minute, just give me, believe for a minute and listen, and then kind of build your belief about it. How do you get past that point?
Well, I think you just answered your own question, right? Like, give me a chance, something. Like, if you can get them to listen for a minute, enough to edify who they're going to get on the phone with, then you're great. If not, next. There's nothing you can do. You don't want to drag these people. We're not desperate. You're not desperate, right? We don't want to sign up somebody if they don't even want to listen. It may not be a fit for them, right? But I can tell you something right now, trying to talk them into listening to you is a red flag. So it sucks to hear, but that's just the way it goes, right? Like, we're not that desperate. You're not that desperate to have to talk somebody into listening to you. But if you can get past that point with, well, give me your opinion, or you really need to talk to my friend, or I know you've done this, been in the industry before, I respect your business thing, like, some sort of sugar in there, then you're great. If you can't do it, next.
Gotcha. That's kind of what I have approached here lately, is I have several friends that are in the medical industry, and I've tried to approach them with, hey, I want you to look at these products. I want you to look at the ingredients. I want you to, kind of look at some of the things that they're doing for others and give me your opinion, and kind of leave it at that, kind of let them do a little research and then come back and tell me what they think. But it's sometimes I think that, and even I mean, like you said before, I've been in all kinds of different things, Prove It, whatever, Origami, all those things. I've done the things, and this is just a different thing. And so many people have all of that in their head thinking that's the way this is going to be. And so it's kind of like breaking that barrier down and trying to get them to be like, don't think about this, just open-minded, look at this. Because I have, there's so many people that I know that will be amazing at it. And once they, dive deeper in it, they would see. But yeah, it's kind of like I guess like you said, a red flag. You don't want to drag them, you don't want to beg, but you want them to benefit, and you want to see them succeed, because that they would be good at it. They would believe it if they ever would just open their eyes and see, instead of being closed-minded.
You can't want it more than somebody else, or you can't want them for them, right? And so, yeah, they passed up on a great thing, or at least you put a little bug in their ear, right? They can't unhear it. They can't unsee it. It's just not time. But again, I know a million people who'd be great at it that won't listen. And that's just the way it goes, right? They just missed out on an opportunity.
Can I interject really quick? Just one thing, Alyssa, is make sure that you're making it's about them, right? They have a need. We have financial and health to help fill those needs. And so making it about them and extending an invitation to them, okay, for them to take a look at this. And what I like to say is that this may or may not be for you. And if not, I completely respect that. But before you make that decision, you have to check out what is going on over here. Because you and I both know once they see it, just like Kelly said, they can't unsee it. Right?
Correct. And
so,
that's been true. And I've even used that you said just a minute ago. I mean, with several people, because then you and I had a conversation like probably 15 or 20 minutes after the first Zoom call, talking about some things. And that was very important to me to be able to hear that so that I could like relate that to the people that I was going to reach out to. So that's, it's very true. It's so frustrating when you see that they need it and you see it could benefit them and you see all these things and then they're like, no. And so like I've had several issues with that, and I've actually reached back to those people and been like, look, I know I'm gonna let you think about this. I want you to think about it. I'm gonna check in with you and like see, okay, what do you think now? Is it a right time now? Because it may not be ever a right time, but I always want to, like you said, extend the invitation and see kind of where that falls.
Let me tell you, the very best leaders or the very best recruiters are the best listeners. They're not the talkers, right? They ask the question and they pull the information out of the person, right? So if you're doing all the talking, they're going to say no. They're people, or they're going to order just to shut you up, right? They're going to do one of two things, right? So ask questions, not the question, ask questions and then listen, you got to listen. You can't already just think of what your next question is going to be. You got to listen to what they say and absorb it, and then ask another question, right? Have them do the talking, not you. And it just shows interest. It helps, put it that way. But even if you know that people will benefit from it and whatever, you can't bug them.
I have a question. Hi. So with Zoom calls still being one of the primary ways that we're meeting, would you suggest doing like a QIQ or something like that before a call? Do you find that more effective so they have a little idea of like what you're talking about once you set up that meeting, and then kind of follow that up with more info finding and fact finding about them? Or is that something that you would take all on in a call when you initially meet somebody?
Well, I guess it's just depends on like the person that you're recruiting, right? Because in some cases you just say, hey, there's something that I think you'd be really super good at. Can you jump on this Zoom? Blah, blah, blah. And then that's right to the QIQ, right?
Yeah.
That's right to the presentation. Now, some of your bigger business people, doctors, real estate agents, some of your professionals, it's way more effective to edify them, to get them on the phone with Katie, right? You kind of want to match incomes, to get them on the phone with Katie and her take that role on. Because a lot of people, I even know myself, if you're going to invite me to a presentation, I ain't coming. I'm not going to. But you invite me to talk to an EC, top of the company, businesswoman, I'm going to listen, right? So you want to tailor just a little bit for people's personalities. Oh, you guys are a sharp bunch. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, you're equipped, you're equipped, right? You understand how to get it. You understand everything about screening, and then what you need to do when you get somebody in your whole organization, and how that can help you as well as advance rank. So go get it.
Can I ask a question?
No, Katie, you're out of questions.
Kelly, what would you recommend of how they create their list of people? So where is a good place to start? How to be able to categorize them, things of that nature.
Ooh, good question. Okay, so I think, in my opinion, what I've seen work the very best is that you, for your invite, I'm teaching people how to invite, is you have a column of basically professionals or people who at least have a profession, right? It could be an industry leader, it could be a doctor, could be nurse, teachers, what, sort of your professional list, right? And then your column right by it is your friends, your family, your cousins, kind of your list of givens that will at least listen to you, right? And then you have your list of, probably maybe the business isn't going to be a great fit for them, or they're not going to be able to do the business, but for a fact they are having problems with sleep. They want to lose weight. They have problems with energy. Maybe their kids need vitamin, right? That's your PC column. Okay. But you don't talk business with your PC column because you already pretty much know the answer, right? You don't talk products with your professional ones right off the bat because you pretty much know the answer, right? Where the art is the skill is the invitation, right? So your invitation to your professionals is going to be different than the invitation to your mom, right? Or to your sister. So make sure you're categorizing them, and then you're tailoring your message, a voice message, or however you guys are inviting or teaching people how to invite, and you're tailoring that message to that person. And then you're tailoring a different message to a different set of people, right on there. What you don't want to do is one big mass voice message, and the voice message sucks. And now you just burned through all of this list with a crappy invite, right? You can never get it back. And so you don't want to teach that. You want people to come to your call. So it takes a couple of times. It takes a couple of times, and it takes some coaching, a little bit of coaching. You have to help your newest person to invite and have them separate their lists. Is that what you want, Katie?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. And question about that too. If they go through their list of people, let's say they have that first list of 100, they're constantly adding to that, right? And
yeah.
Just because, like, I heard somebody the other day say she's been doing this industry for 6 or 7 years, and she still has her warm market. Like, she still has so many more people to reach out to her warm market. And I am the same way too. Like, I have not even come close to exhausting my warm market yet, because I'm constantly adding to that warm market. So can you maybe touch on that just for a second?
Yes. I mean, 100 people sounds like a lot of people until you're putting them down on paper, right? And then you're categorizing them, right? You're always constantly adding to that list. That doesn't necessarily mean that right then you're reaching out to them. Sometimes you put them on there and you think about it for a minute, or think about how you're going to invite them, or think about, is this one going to be invited to a presentation, or is this one going to be invited to a one-on-one, right? But in a lot of cases, you guys, in every 4 months, people launch themselves again. They literally take the paper out, freshen it up of what it is, look at the list that they had, and relaunch themselves, right? Do a whole Fab Five. Hey, Katie, guess what? I'm going to do another Fab Five. Can you host it? Can you be the presenter? You bet, right? Like, you have to keep it always fresh. And sometimes if you just even adding a few people to your list is great, because you're always coming across people. You want to add anything to that, Katie?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
I have a quick question. Is there a way to keep track of, like, keep it organized? You're contacting all these different people, and like you said, the follow-up is so important. Of how do you keep it all organized? Who you're contacting, who you're following up with, and things like that.
Excel spreadsheet.
Katie, you can answer that.
Yes, so I actually have a couple of ways that have worked for me. And it just depends on, I don't know, I guess my mood for that quarter. But most of the time, Excel spreadsheet. But in the beginning, and that's what I use now is the Excel spreadsheet. But in the beginning, what I did, Daphne, is I got a recipe like card box, you know what I'm talking about? And I had dividers, and it was 1 through 31. And then I had index cards in it. And it was almost like a filing system. Okay. So I would have a notebook, let's say, and I had everybody's name down, or Excel spreadsheet, everybody's name down in it. And I would have beside them, so for instance, I talked to Kelly Allred today. I piqued her interest. I write a note card out. Today is what, the 10th? Yeah, the 10th. So at the top of the note card, I'm putting 310 up here, Kelly Allred. I put in what we talk about and when I'm going to follow up with her again. And let's say I told her, she was like, well, you know, I need to talk to my husband about it. And I put the ball back in my court. Okay. I am not saying, okay, you call me back and let me know whenever you're ready. So I am saying, okay, great. Would it be okay if I followed up with you on the 13th? Yes, absolutely. That would be plenty of time for me to do that. So at the other corner, I'm going to put 313. I am then going to go and file it in that 13 spot. Okay, because I have it numbered 1 through 31, right? So then on the 13th, I come and I pull all my cards out. Some of them, because I've been filing it and doing this for a while, might have 513 on it. It might have 613, but all the ones that have 313 on, I'm pulling out, and those are the ones that I'm following up with. And then I'm writing all of my notes on that note card down on what we talked about and when I'm going to follow up again, or maybe I close it out. So that's how I started, because that's what I came from with corporate America. It just helped, and that's how I was able to get in a rhythm and in a system. But eventually I did move to an Excel spreadsheet. So each person is completely different. You know what I mean? Like some people, I have girls who have like 3-ring binders, and they have like their hot prospects and people that they're like their class A's and people that they're dripping on, and people who are about the business and people with the customers, and they flip through, they have pages for each person. It just depends. Kelly, do you know of anything else that you've heard?
Excel. Excel.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way to keep track, because you can highlight it, you can take it off, you can put the thing on there. You know, you can type in names, you can take names out, you can do, I mean, you find a way as long as you're doing it, just keeping it organized. Otherwise, you're going to waste time.
Yeah, mine was probably a little too complicated, but that's how I started. That's how I got into that rhythm all the time.
You're old school.
That's super old school. It is, but it worked for me for sure at the beginning. Anybody else have any other questions?
I did have one thing I wanted to ask if I could, Katie.
Uh-huh.
When you were just talking a few minutes ago about like warm market and, you know, how you've been in it for several years and that kind of a thing. And my warm market has always been kind of small. I mean, that's on purpose. I'm just more of a small group kind of a person. And so now I'm much more into, I guess you could say, like a cold market type of a thing. They're people I'm connected to, but not necessarily people I have relationships with. And so a lot of them I'm reaching out and just, you know, it's like I'm saying, you know, we don't know each other that well, or we followed each other through Facebook or whatever. But I guess part of it is just feeling like, am I more in relationship building mode right now? Is that where I really need to focus? Although I feel like I want to just don't want to vomit Q sciences all over them. But at the same time, I do want to just tell them, look, this is what I'm doing. I really want to share with you. And I'm wanting to pique that interest from the get-go. I don't want to make it sound like I'm just, you know, trying to make a relationship only because I want to build a business. I mean, I am interested in building a business. That's why I'm here. And so I guess a lot of times I get hung up on that. And so I'm just wondering, you know, is there anything else I should be doing or things I should be tweaking, excuse me, in order to, you know, we talk about people joining us. They join us. They don't join a company. They don't join whatever. They join us because they trust us. But I don't know that that trust factor is there yet. So I guess that's kind of where I'm just trying to figure out what to do. So I don't know if there's a question in there exactly or not, but just kind of, you know, trying to figure all that out.
Kelly, do you want to answer or do you want me to?
Well, you can. What I'm going to say is all you need is 2 people, right? Is to identify two people that have the mindset as you that wants to own a business to go for it, right? If you start with that and you're looking at your smaller list, who do you know that you want to be in business with that would say yes to the screening questions, and start with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Katie?
I think seeing those screening questions helps too. You know, when you had it on that graphic, I took a screenshot of it because I thought, I want to look at that and I want to see that for myself, you know, that I'm challenging myself every day, week, month, whatever. Am I meeting these requirements? Am I doing these things? Because it's easy to slip into a rut, I guess, and expect everybody else to do certain things that we think we're doing, but we're not. And so just to have that there, you know, it's kind of similar to the relaunching kind of a thing that you were saying just a minute ago. It's just good to have that accountability. So thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for getting on the call. I hope it helped. I hope that, you know, that I can see you guys soon. As you get bigger, you can have me on your meetings. You can host one. I'll be your guest. I'll train, you know, for you these specific things. I think the cool part about it is that Katie and I are going to try to make these a staple. So people that you bring in March will be invited to calls like this, right? So they can get some training as well. So we just don't ghost people. We want to help people. So thank you so much. And I hope to see you all soon.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Greatly appreciate all of your time and just pouring into everybody. And thank you all as well for being on. You all have a great night.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye. Thank you.